Exciting episode of Stacker News Live. My name's Car. I'm with my BFF Keyan.
That's my name. Take a drink of your beer.
Dude, this is for the Stackers at home. He got us tiger's blood, and everybody's made a face in the lab. So watch my face.
They said it was great. It's from E. Cesar Chavez. Yeah.
Wow, that actually tastes like
Tastes like ice cream.
tastes like something Mexican. What?
It has milk sugar in it, which
Is it a beer or is this like a fruity drink?
It's a beer.
How much alcohol does it have in it?
I think it's a beer.
Have you been drinking this at home? Because you live on
No.
you live on the east side. Doxed.
I do live somewhere in Austin, and I know where this place is. So I drive.
Track 'em, Stackers.
I'm like near
Track
it all
'em.
the time, but I've never actually been there. But you can go there and get you actually can't drink beer there, but you can buy beer and sit outside. They have like a place where you can sit outside and drink it. Yeah, it's weird. I think it's because Texas has really weird like alcohol laws.
Yeah, they take that stuff seriously, dude.
Anyway, they specialize in sours. So if you're in Austin,
You know what it kind of
check it
tastes
out.
like? It's when you get towards the end of those sour, what do they call the blow pops or whatever? It kind of tastes like the end of it when you get to the gum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but with alcohol.
Perfect.
Anyway, this is where we talk about that kind of stuff. But we also talk about the top 5 stories on Stacker News. The front page. Whoa, what are you doing, dude?
I'm lowering the desk. It's too high. I can't even see the screen.
You're throwing off my flow. This is how last week's show ended up in all over the place.
in the top 20 videos on YouTube.
No. If you've never seen the show before, we cover the top 5 stories on Stacker News, front page of Bitcoin. If you don't know what that is, check it out. Stacker.news. Your easy way to earn sats. Dude.
It's not that easy, but
It's pretty easy. Yeah.
How
For
dare
now. Post ETF, it's gotten a little bit harder maybe.
really bring the ETF into this.
There's Bitcoin and then there's Bitcoin post ETF. This is the world we live in now. Hey, I don't make the rules.
You don't make the rules.
Nope. I just
glad.
cover the news.
So glad.
Cover the news the Stackers want me to cover. The first top story is writing contest. Number 1, GrayRuby's Bitcoin story. This is from Books and Articles territory. February 8th, 22 comments, 23,000 sats. Wow, dude, that's a lot of sats.
Yeah. So this is GrayRuby's telling, like a lot of us is, GrayRuby's been on Stacker News for quite a while. They run the sports territory. Very popular stacker. They walk us through their life, what was going on in their life when they were encountering Bitcoin, and it's a really fun story. There's like a lot there. It really it involves business dreariness, business drama, life cool life successes and life. Some level of life tragedies, and Bitcoin interspersed throughout it. I thought it was great. I don't know how much GrayRuby normally writes, but I thought it was really good. I was able to get through the whole
part
thing
about the
very
fiat
easily.
pathogen? What's that about?
That was about basically the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and kind of everything that happened during the time. GrayRuby is in the real estate business, and so and I think primarily commercial real estate, and that's just gotten hammered unexpectedly to everyone. And so being in that industry, being a business owner in that industry, not just like being employed in it, but literally having on some level, when you have a business, you're kind of you're kind of delaying the gratification of the future. You're relying on it existing quite a while, and boom, it exploded. But GrayRuby's been out of it for a while, and I apparently moved. Anyway, it's a great story just to learn about a stacker that we're all familiar with and love.
Thanks, GrayRuby. Go ahead and get some zaps.
Zap.
There you go. Cool. Let's read the comments from the top stackers. You got KR. He said, "What story? Thanks for the write-up. Your reflection made me realize how the last few years have really been. It's easy to forget some of this stuff or downplay it when looking back." OP said, "Thanks. I got a bit of our story mode in the second half and more in detail mode, but hopefully tied the detail portion into the themes of the stories okay to make it flow." EK said, "To be honest, I can't tell where the second half starts." He goes on. Good stuff. You got Elvis Mercury jumping in. He said, "This was both interesting and really artfully done. Nice job." There's some good stories on Stacker News, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll get into it later, but Siggy is incentivizing people to do this.
I'll read this later.
So we'll likely see more of it as time goes on.
It would be cool if somebody made like a Stacker News app where I could just go read all my bookmarks in one app. But I guess
those bookmarks that you go back to all the time, you would otherwise go back to. Hey man,
it's one of my favorite features on Stacker News besides the sats. Besides the zaps.
I wonder how many bookmarks you'd have if I never called you out on air.
Hey, I'm the one. I'm the one who requested that feature. By the way, you're welcome.
I mean, you and 300 other people, but
hey, I'm keeping them honest, Stackers. The next top story is the design pattern. This is a hawk post. It looks like from Mallard's Head, February 8th. A Bitcoin territory post, 50 comments, 116,000 sats. What? How did I miss this, dude?
I don't know, but so Mallard's Head historically drops by every once in a while and does these posts that for me they kind of blow my mind a little bit. Like that's almost like the feeling I'm left with usually. It starts out by describing the Constitution.
It looks like my beer can
being like this. Setting the course for governments to be more decentralized, and makes the argument that as that runs its course, we get like freedom, and there's really no going back from that. Like it's pretty much the ideal form of government, and then ties that back into Bitcoin and says Bitcoin is doing something similar with money, and makes the argument that people will be mining Bitcoin not to earn money, but to guarantee they can settle their transactions of their government, their business, their community in a censorship-resistant manner, and makes a decent argument of that, given that we see countries establishing mining pools when it's unlikely they're actually going to earn much Bitcoin as a result of running a mining pool, given how competitive it is and how few Bitcoin are left to be mined. So instead, they might be doing it simply to secure their ability to transact in a censorship-resistant way in the future. And I hadn't really taken a look at Bitcoin that way before.
Yeah, it's like running your own node, bro. Like this is why it's so important to run your own node. Yes, it's hard. It's supposed to be hard. Like you think Bitcoin's supposed to be easy? I mean, come on, man. We're talking about like something that's probably the most important technology of our time.
Well, I mean, that's a lot to say, but I think it makes a really compelling point that people will mine like node runners run nodes to guarantee censorship resistant. I'd never thought of mining that way before. That was the first time I thought of mining that way, just because you have to do it at such a scale that you can be guaranteed you'll be able to mine a block. One of the examples he used in here was Binance, which, in addition to running an exchange, also runs a mining pool, and they have 3%, I think, of the hash power, but that secures them like 6 blocks a day. So if they have something they really want to do on Bitcoin, and everyone else is preventing them from getting into Bitcoin, their mining pool will allow them to do it anyway.
I mean, how many times have we been in the lab where somebody jumps on Telegram to get a transaction or something to go through, right? Like maybe not as much anymore as it used to, but like that's a thing, Keyan.
Mm-hmm.
We got Ribarrett. He says, thanks for this. Hey.
Wow. He appreciates it, I guess.
Got Lady Luck says, a good long read, worth the time.
Wasn't that long. I thought it was great. I mean, what's cool when you can tell someone who writes a lot, the density of information keeps you there alone, because it's like anomalous, and you're just like, how much more am I going to learn by reading another sentence? And yeah,
you got David W said, bravo as always, would love you to dive deeper into this. Commodity money loves abundance. It soaks up that value. I think I understand the picture sketched out, but would be great to see you finish it. Based on what you have shared, I'm seeing a golden age of capital deployment once we're on the other side of this transition. Huh.
Yeah.
And then you got Mallard says, I agree with that. Golden age of capital deployment, well said, especially with an overabundance of cheap, free energy. I think the 20s could have some more friction for us, but the other side is rainbows, it looks like.
Yeah, both Mallard's Head and David W. are quite bullish on the future of technology in a way that I find some other Bitcoin writers aren't exactly like.
Well, I think
technologists,
Booth gets
early
it, right?
adopters.
Do you agree on the Booth, right? The price of tomorrow?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, I understand his thesis generally, and I think
It's been a while since I read it, but
I think it makes a lot of sense.
over time, yeah. Cool, great post. Love it, love to see it. The next top story is Node XMRK closing down for now, at least. This is a Lightning post, February 5th, XMRK2, 23 comments, 22,000 cents. What is going on here, Keyan? Oh,
it looks like they had a pretty serious failure in running their node, and it might be to some extent
he linked Snacker News on there.
user failure. But it looks like he like lost most of his channel state is what happened, and you kind of need that channel state to engage in the protocol in a way that your channel partners can't steal your money. And so
we had 2 million total capacity, 318 channels.
Yeah, he had over 20 Bitcoin.
Do you think he was optimizing for? Was he optimizing for like trying to make money? You think, or
I don't know. I think a lot of people run nodes like as a hobby. I'm not sure they're necessarily doing it yet to make money, but I think they're doing it in a hobby, you know, with the goal maybe of it becoming profitable in the future. Like if they engage in the hobby long enough, like if you knit, you're like, eventually I'm going to start up an Etsy store, and people are going to buy my mittens, and I'm gonna have a banging mitten shop.
But are you gonna make 1,000 mittens though?
I mean,
probably not.
In pursuit of that goal, in pursuit of your hobby that you love knitting anyway. You're gonna do it anyway.
Okay. So you think he just loved getting channels and?
Yeah, dude, you're a geek. You geek out. I mean, think about the things that you engage in that are like expensive and take a lot of time, but you just get a lot of enjoyment out of them. Like
Pleb Lab?
Like maybe Pleb Lab, maybe like you know, like people who buy a lot of gear, like the people who buy the cameras and they'll get all the lenses, and then it's always another piece of gear.
Well, I appreciate that. Thanks for documenting this.
Yeah, so he just kind of shares what happened. Not exactly clear what happened. He thinks it just didn't during his LND upgrade. He rebooted and it didn't get flushed to disk before the reboot, because I think he did a forced reboot. So yeah, all of his state was lost, not backed up.
That sucks.
And couldn't really run his node. Couldn't confidently run his node again without him losing even more Bitcoin. So he just decided to shut it down.
He said the community reaction was amazing. Special thanks to Rocket Node who insisted on me stopping LND and thus possibly saved me several BTC. Zap.meme tried to calm me down. Ziggy and even Bosworth investigated. That's awesome, man. Love to see it.
Yeah, it's just a bummer.
Yeah, you got Rocket Node. The top comment says, FYI, if you are, what does that stand for? SCB?
SCB.
Solo something. It's just telling the other side to broadcast their latest commitment transaction. So your balance will always be time locked 1 block, and their balance will be time locked up to 2016 blocks, depending on the channel size. And then XMRK said, okay, thanks.
I don't know what that means. Short channel broadcast, maybe? I don't know.
I got Zap.meme says, thanks for the write-up. I hope you stick around in the community. We are still treading the waters at the edge of the world, recklessly throwing our coins into beta environments and tools, but over time, it all gets easier and more stable. So maybe 6 to 12 months, there will be a reason to start up again. Yeah. That's a lot of Bitcoin you threw in there, though.
Well, that wasn't all his Bitcoin. That was his capacity. So that could have been
still a lot of Bitcoin.
It's not necessarily Bitcoin that he can spend. It's Bitcoin that can be routed through his node.
It's a lot of Bitcoin. Cool. Any other thoughts? Oh, you got Carmen here. He says, damn, I remember when we had a channel for years. Sad to hear. Hope everything works out.
Yeah.
Even Carmen cares.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have any thoughts. I mean, this is kind of expected to happen. You're dealing with money, you know, hot Bitcoin and new technology, and we're not like all super familiar with it. And even if you are, you can still make mistakes. So, but just kind of cool that They figured out what happened. He saved more Bitcoin than he could have if there wasn't for the community there to help them. And it sounds like quite a few people actually returned the money.
Oh, wow.
That he lost in forced closes.
Love Bitcoiners, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome. The next top story is the future of work via Bitcoin ? This is a Bitcoin post in the Bitcoin territory. February 3rd, David W., 37 commas, 6,907 sats. Can I get a woo? Yeah.
Woo, yeah. There's no doggies
Not today.
Bad weather.
I already gave up my woo doggy for the day.
Oh, I don't recall that.
You weren't here.
Oh,
you're in the office. Like a
well,
recluse.
Well, I don't get the woo doggy.
I think I'm getting other people to say woo doggy around the lab. So
I hope not. We don't need more of that.
Spreading.
You're a virus, Car.
Jeez.
COVID 2.0. Okay. Carvid.
Go for it.
Yeah, this I thought this was a great prompt. David W. asked it via Bitcoin, but I think it's just really interesting to think about what the future of work is, period. I think it's fairly up in the air. It's like a fundamental part of life, but so much of our life is now like in technology. And so as technology changes, I think our work changes quite a bit. So what is it? I think it's a good question. We have a lot of people in the comment threads kind of sharing their perspective.
What do you think it is before we jump into the comments?
I think it will favor more like indirect abstract work.
Yeah, it seems abstract, that statement. Wait, indirect abstract work, okay.
Meaning
that you're upon something?
Meaning that you're not really doing anything very directly anymore. Like like if you can imagine the work of a laborer relative at a construction site relative to the construction manager. The construction manager's job is fairly abstract. Like they're telling people what to do. They're not actually doing it. And so I think that's just what happens when things are automated. Imagine calculations. Like you could do the calculations but you use a calculator. You're not doing it really manually anymore. And that's kind of what automation does, is it like removes you from the like direct process of getting the result. And so I think we'll just see more and more of that, and work will become more and more like that over time. I also think transaction costs to maintain like distributed teams, where the team is loosely defined, will like reduce quite a bit, and we will see more gigging, we will see more contracting. And eventually, I think at some point that terminates to where I don't think companies have much benefit existing. They only exist really because transaction costs are high between like independent agents. Yeah. And they form a collective to make it cheaper.
Yeah, you go.
Yeah.
I think it's more of that, but I'm biased because I'm living it. I think it's more of a collective thing, and then you're in it together for better, to get more signal out as a group of individuals that all benefit from the bounty, I guess, or the fruit. I don't know what you want to call that, but it's like what you're saying, but without the, I don't want to use the word gig economy because that sounds too fiat, but it's like you're able to jump around in that little collective, if that makes sense.
In the collective, I believe also outside there will be more like viable work outside the collective. I think just technology in general will reduce the transaction costs to maintaining contracts with people and getting new people to do new things. And eventually there won't be much benefit in actually establishing an entity that has people on payroll for long periods of time.
Yeah, I can see that. It's almost like needs to be something created for that. I don't know.
It's happening bottom up, but
there's a team in Top Builder, Pleb Work. It's his thesis. Shout out that team, but it's different. So
there's probably a lot of
people thinking about it, right? Yeah, there's a lot of people thinking about it.
Yeah.
Cool. The first, I really don't know. I'm not the person to ask about jobs, Natalia, she said, what do you think will change with the nature of our work? Then she references the same thing. It says, I feel it's more like going back to how things used to be. Perhaps more importantly, compatibilities, you most likely still prefer to work with someone compatible with your working style. I can see that. I think it's probably going to differ, right? Like where you're at location-wise?
Maybe.
Because she's somewhere,
I think
not in America.
I mean,
right? So
I think if we're talking about the future, I think we're all going to be working primarily in VR. I think in 100 years from now, things like PlebLab won't exist much. There won't be much purpose for me to breathe air with all of you. But
they said the same thing to Walt Disney. That's all I'm saying.
But we'll all be in but we will form PlebLabs in something like a VR space or whatever.
How do we know this is not VR, Keyan?
I mean, it probably is, but we've lived in it our entire lives.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, I've been wondering what's in that thing that you got on top of your shoulders.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so early. We were going to be dead by then, so we'll never see that.
Oh, but it's fun to think about.
Yeah, totally.
I love it. I love thinking about it.
But isn't that more like transhumanism, though? I feel like that's more like it crosses that kind of barrier.
I don't know.
I get depressed when I think of
I
stuff
think
like
transhumanism is like, it's almost like pursuit of that. I feel like this just happens. I feel like this is it's what we want. And over time, making, billions of decisions per second across the entire population of the world, we end up with something that is, makes all of our lives more like the way we want it, more or less emotionally. Yeah. And that's like, that's mostly digital, and we get to do whatever we want. And
I think there is some freedom in that. I think this is okay. I got it. Maybe this is not it, but this sounds about right.
Okay.
I think in the future of work, you'll have more independence, and you'll be able to do whatever you want, but you would have to maybe like really specialize in something or like really stand out in a way where you can do that. Maybe, I don't know. That just sounds really right. The other thing is I was talking to Justin from Shocknet, and he said something really interesting. He goes, you shouldn't start a Bitcoin company unless you really want pain and you really want to go through it, because you're not going to stack coin, and you're doing it for all the wrong reasons. And he did say, he goes, you're better off getting I don't know if he said this verbatim, this is probably me, but he said like, you're better off just getting like a plumber's job or like a blue collar job that pays you a lot, and like you stack sats and you stay humble and that. So what do you think about that?
I think that's good. I mean, I think it depends on what you want. If you want money, I think Justin is right. I'm not sure, you don't have to necessarily be a plumber or whatever, but getting a job and stacking sats is probably a good thing. As far as like being a founder, I agree. It's probably more pain than it is pleasure on the whole. So you kind of have to like that. But the pleasure that you do get is rather peaky and nice and unique.
When it's good, it's good.
Exactly. That's
like today. When it's good, today's good.
Oh, is today good?
Yeah. I mean, where are we at? Come on, Stacker News. We're at 47.
Oh,
today's good.
We're post ETF, $47,000
hey,
on
man,
the hour.
I feel better. That helps me feel better. Hey, we all have our own vices, Keyan. Mine's looking at the Clark Moody dashboard. Yeah.
Clark Moody.
Hey, man.
Oh, man. So the other thing I said in my comment here was that I think ultimately work terminates where most of us spend most of our time. Our work is simply entertaining each other. Like that is where.
Oh, like a Black Mirror episode, maybe?
I mean, they've probably done an episode that's similar to this, but I really think that's probably where it goes. That's like, because that's really all that we want to do.
I think if Bitcoin doesn't win, then it probably gets there. Like it gets really bad.
I think if Bitcoin, I think that's the way we go regardless. It doesn't matter if it's Bitcoin
post
or not.
ETF or
pre the second ETF, ETF squared, VR.
Post ETF, everything changes, in my opinion. Okay, KR got frequency of payment is one thing that I think might change. Oh yeah, obviously, right? If money is liquid, it can flow in a steady stream. Yeah, see, I like the way KR thinks about this. He's looking at it more from like a money perspective.
Oh, okay.
Stay accountable to saving money.
I mean, I agree with that. I think he's right in that the transaction costs of money are lower with Bitcoin, so we would make them more frequently.
You got Squeeze Every Side says, I'm not super great with talking to people. Wouldn't be surprised if an official diagnosis declared I was on the spectrum. There's tests for that. Squeeze Every Side. Are you on the spectrum, Keyan? You don't have to answer that.
I mean, I think I'm like a rainbow, if that's what. If we're talking about colors.
Post ETF. The next top story is zap.meme building in the open #1. Oh, wow. This is a builder's territory. February 4th, zap.meme, 45 comments, 9,163 sats. Dude, Joe is killing it, dude. Have you seen zap.meme?
I have. I was on it the other day.
So much fun, dude.
Yeah, man.
Like, I just laughed the whole time. Like,
it's pure fun.
What do you think about this project? Oh wow, Dave Ramsey.
I think it's great. I mean, so Joe did a commit on Stacker News like a while ago, and so I'm familiar with Joe already.
This one blew my mind. Did you see this? The iPhone, 8 Bitcoin in 2010. Gosh,
I mean, the Bitcoin's price is change has been so dramatic.
Though.
You could probably look at stuff like that forever and be amazed.
Yeah, what'd you think?
Oh, I mean, I think it's great. I think there's a lot of. I think it has a lot of potential. You know, it's like Joe told me about it. It's like Stacker News, but specifically for memes. I think it'd be like I'd love like meme editing. That's something I currently do.
Yeah.
I believe on what is it called? It's called Image.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the name.
Yeah, I don't know that.
There's a couple of them. Oh, watch out! They're just gonna trip. Oh, there's a couple of them that do that.
Yeah, but that would be, image editing would be great.
What was this? Did he send all these to the Stackers?
I don't know. He like he might have like created accounts for them or something.
Nice.
I'm not sure exactly what happened.
But they got zapped or credited.
I'm not sure.
We got Fiat Bad. He says we're going to get Nostr sign-in implemented in our app. And yes, this.
Oh, cool. Fiat Bad is on the team. Sweet.
Then we have Spot says, FYI, I got 2 profiles created on my profile, one main profile and the other one. So look, he's going through the same process that you had with your, or did you have that problem as far as like profiles and stuff in the other days with Stacker News? Was that a problem?
What do you mean?
As far as like right here, he had 2 profiles created under under my profile. Oh, I thought I said one profile. No, one main profile and another one. Did you have any problems with profiles when you got them started?
I don't think so. So
yeah, this was my biggest thing, was just defaulting to dark mode.
Do you think it should default to dark mode?
100%.
I don't know. I don't know if that's what people want.
That's what
Why is Google not defaulted to dark mode?
They're losing a lot of users.
Are they really? They have like 90% of the search market share.
It just sounds right. No, this is good. Yeah, he's in the top builder, and this is one of the teams that is performing really well.
Yeah. Crushing it. He's a top builder, top 15 builder.
This is made the top 5. It's crazy. The one project that made the top 5. Okay, cool. We're gonna get into my stories. Let's go Doomer first.
Okay.
I want to go Doomer. I want to talk about this.
Doom.
OpenAI CEO Sam Altman seeks as much as $7 trillion, Keyan, to build a new AI chip project. Sounds like end of days. What do you think?
What do I think about the title? I think why not? Why not? He's a huge celebrity with OpenAI. He's crushed it there. I don't think there is another AI company that's doing half as well. It's looking like he could begin competing with Google. It looks like people are going to demand more and more of these chips.
Look what he says. He says, we believe the world needs more AI infrastructure, fab capacity, energy, data centers, etc. than people are currently planning to build. Building massive scale AI infrastructure and a resilient supply chain is crucial to economic competitiveness. OpenAI will try to help. He says they're going to try.
Well, with $7 trillion, they better do more than try. But I'm sure they'll do. They'll do pretty.
Best
good.
we can get is him trying, though, Keyan. I'm sorry. Like, you have to accept that when we give the AI overlords money, they just have to try. They don't have to do anything.
So long as it goes better than WorldCoin, I think.
I think this is a second attempt at that.
No, really? You think it?
100%.
Oh, you are dooming it, aren't you? What do you think?
Total doom. So look at you. You said, or he could give every person on the earth 18 million cents.
I was thinking of making that joke where someone's like, that is so much money. You could give every person in the world a Subway sandwich and a Toyota Camry.
That $7 trillion could solve global warming, I'm sure. Just all the most ridiculous statements you can think of.
That's what I was, but that's actually a true statement. That is he could give.
Wait, is it the equivalent of $7 trillion?
I mean, there isn't $7 trillion.
Did you run the numbers?
Yeah, I ran the numbers. It's around 18 million, okay. But there isn't $7 trillion with the Bitcoin because Bitcoin's at like $500 billion. I
just think it's ridiculous that they're like giving him $7 trillion, and it's just money out of thin air. Like, it's so like it's.
Well, that's the beauty of the money.
They're not giving him Bitcoin. Like, he's not getting 7 Bitcoin to go do this, or like 100 Bitcoin, or 1,000 Bitcoin. Like, to me, I just find it hilarious. It's like, what? 7 trillion? I don't know.
I mean, we'll see.
We still live in a fiat world. Are we, is that peak fiat? Are we in peak fiat? Peak fiat world right here? This peak fiat?
I mean, that's the biggest valuation or biggest amount of money raised, I think, at once that I've ever seen. But there might be.
Do you think
that's like, what is that? What's the GDP
VCs,
of the United States is like $30 trillion.
Do you think any Bitcoin VCs will jump in on this?
Maybe it's more than 30 trillion. Oh no, that's our budget or something. The VCs, yeah. Oh, there were people. I mean, Saudi princes. I mean, that's sovereign level fund money. Those are countries giving you that kind of money. That's a lot of money.
Sounds like Mission Impossible 7 or whatever that one was. Where's Tom Cruise when you need him? The other one I wanted to bring up was this one. It's another doomer one.
If Elon is Iron Man, then Sam Altman is
Electro.
No, he's Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible.
Defeating? Yeah, I'm lost.
Not really.
But separate universes, Keyan.
Sorry.
This next one I want to bring up was ex-NSA chief. We kill people. This quotes. We kill people based on metadata. Do you think this is true?
Oh yeah.
I mean, if ABC says it, right?
Well, think about it. You got a bunch of weapons, and you have a bunch of weapons in the sky.
You need targets.
You got to use the best data available to find the targets to use them, because that's what you bought them for. And so, maybe you'd prefer to have not metadata and real data, but if you only got metadata and you got to shoot some rockets, you're not going to shoot them at Coke cans. You're gonna shoot them at people, at the worst people you can find using the best data you have.
These are dark times.
Yeah.
You got Nuttell. He says, here's the extraordinary part of this. When he says we, he is thinking it is all a group effort, and thus the sin of manslaughter is absorbed by all or absolved by acting in the interests of government. No further truth can be obscured by lying to oneself and others, and they know this. At least at the very top of the pyramid, they know this. Gosh.
Ooh.
That's a hard-hitting statement. All right, we'll get away from the doomer stuff.
Okay. Oh, those are your doomers.
Those are my doomer ones. We're going to go into the light now.
Light.
Plebpoet's original poem plus discussion from the books and articles. Dude, that books and articles territory is pumping off. This is February 5th, Plebpoet, 11,000 sats. Did you read her poem?
I did.
What'd you think of it?
I thought it was great. I really liked it. I mean, I haven't read much poetry in my life, so I can't judge it. I don't have any standard for judging poetry.
I really like that last line.
But I enjoyed it.
What is modern? How do you say that? What is modern?
What is modernity to molecules?
Molecules, yeah. I suck at spelling.
Beautiful, right?
Saying stuff.
Like, do molecules think about the future?
I think so.
Do they think about where we currently are in the world? No, they're just molecules existing. But I guess they do.
I think Carlos Fandango, he hit it out of the park. He says, as a piece, the poem itself is so rich in meaning just in the first reading. The notes and your thought process make it fascinating. I'm no poet and certainly no critic, but you for sharing both parts. That's what I like, the process part. Right?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, she did a great job of you don't, it's hard, as not a poet, I don't know what goes into writing a poem.
But it's like explaining whenever you do code or something. It's like, this is why we did it, right? It's like.
Ideally you do that and comment in your code. But
there you go. This is your comment on the code.
That. I don't do it enough, probably.
This is why Stacker News works, Keyan. It's just a melting pot of different types of Bitcoiners coming together to talk about how very similar we all are. So that's what I think, at least. I could be wrong. It's still early.
It is still early. We don't know what is going to come out of the melting pot.
Maybe queso. That
would be bullish.
Bullish. This is your top story. CASCDR update.
CASCDR. Are we going to get the man himself?
Oh, you want to bring Uncle Jim here?
Yeah, we're bringing in Jim.
Uh-oh. Get ready to get base stackers. Watch out. There you go.
What's up?
This is...
we could have just switched chairs, but we decided to do it the most complex way possible.
What is
Keyan not going to be on this with me? What the hell?
Oh, no.
I'm twinning with Keyan right now.
He's shopping. He's shopping co-host.
Okay. We're drinking Tiger's Blood right now, so we're winning, and I have the same hat, or I'm wearing a Stacker News hat like Keyan. So we're twinning now too.
And we're also in the CASCDR verse.
What?
What? What's the that's?
I thought you meant like the African American Spider-Man. I was like, what? Anyway.
Yeah, so tell us about Cascader. What happened? What's the TLDR in Cascader?
Yeah, so I'm in the top builder competition right now. I'm building Cascader. I consider it sort of like a Zapier, but on open protocols. So you pay for L402 paid Lightning APIs with Lightning, and it's on an open network. You broadcast the services over Nostr and discover them over Nostr. So kind of using the best of both technologies and trying to build out tools for privacy for people that care about that, and also just showing what's possible with AI. So this Wednesday, I dropped a new service here, and this is I call it the YouTube agent, and it just lets you plug in a YouTube video and get a summary or article or custom prompt. Like if you wanted to make a quiz out of this, you could just type in something like, give me 5 quiz questions from this, a bunch of different workflows. It's still kind of alpha. I'm still a little embarrassed by some of the stuff. There's still a few bugs, but I'm working to improve those. But I think this is a huge point of leverage.
Thing. Yeah.
Yeah, just for me personally, just productivity. Like I don't have to listen to a whole podcast. I can get the TLDR pretty fast. So I think that's cool.
Yeah, I know TFTC is doing this with like the AI stuff where they'll grab videos and then try to make them to articles and stuff. And it seems to be working from what I could tell when I read them. But
yeah, they did a pretty good job. Like I remember I was looking at a Glenn Greenwald post. Love Glenn Greenwald, possibly the most based man on the planet. But they had some great stuff from him. So yeah, I'm definitely interested in this field and just in general learning about embeddings and how LLMs and vectorization works.
So what's this right here? Start 9.
Okay, yeah. So I built, and I've only really tested it locally, but I'm about to release it into the wild. It's I call it Cascader Vendor, and it lets you sell your OpenAI API keys in exchange for sats. So you just run this on
Patriot.
Patriot. You just the drop didn't come in, dude.
Patriot.
Go for it. I can't hear it. Is it going to the audience but not us?
Yeah, you can hear it. The audience can hear it.
All right, sorry. Anyway, so yeah, I built this, and basically it runs a server, runs a Express server locally, and you can over Tor you can offer services for sats, and so
that's so awesome.
Yeah, so right now it's just ChatGPT 3.5 inference, but I'm hoping to add GPT-4
sats flow, baby.
Embeddings, just the embedding services. I'm trying to think what else. The Whisper service, the Vision service, so like analyzing images, like everything that Cascader already does, we'll add, and then also just merging with free GPT. So I love the guys at StartOS or Start9, they're doing great stuff. StartOS has a package called FreeGPT, which lets you run like open source models like Llama locally. So I'm just hoping to figure out ways that I could connect to those services, and then just basically, use your Start9 box as like a like a service provider.
Did you do all this in Top Builder, or is this stuff that you started after?
Yeah, all this stuff I listed here is in Top Builder. I mentioned just the overview in the first like third of the post, but everything else I did during Top Builder.
So the TLDR for Cascader for people that are listening at home is like Zapier on open protocols. We use Lightning for value APIs and Nostr for discovery and reputation. We just added a new YouTube agent that can summarize or write a post for 1 hour plus YouTube videos. That's first to market, bro. I think Huggy Face is the only other one that I think they have like a Whisper V3 that I can use, but it takes like 30 minutes or whatever to actually have to go download it. There's just all this, like, for me personally, when I write on Thriller, like I'll take the podcast that I've written, the stuff that we talked about, and I'll turn it into an article. Like, and I think you're going to see more and more content creators do that, because it's you want to get the most bang for your buck for your time, and that's where we're moving. Time is scarce. So is Bitcoin. You need both. So
yeah. It's all about making better UX, better productivity.
I got Bitcoin Pledge Dev at the top thing. He says, shipping like crazy. Let's go. Uncle Jim 21 takes feedback requests and builds solutions within a week.
Cheers, Austin.
Patriot.
Yeah.
Patriot.
And then even KR, he says, love it. Zapier is a perfect example of a business that could use Lightning payments to save their users money and settle payments instantly. Excited to follow along with the progress. Yeah, Zapier will die. So that's how that'll play out. Get on Bitcoin.
Play fiat games, win fiat prizes.
Exactly. You get 7 trillion in. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, they're not paying attention to how the world's moving. Like, it's like 7 trillion to Sam Altman. Like, that's just going to go to poof. You know that Joker meme where it's just like It's about sending a message. That's what Bitcoin companies are doing. Stacking sats, sending messages. They took our jobs. Are you going to take people's jobs?
I'm not going to take your job. Sam Altman wants to take your job.
Yeah. All right, cool. Keyan, you got any questions for Uncle Jim?
I mean, not really. Jim and I talk enough that I don't feel like I have a good grip on what he's building, and I think it's cool. And
are you more bullish? You're more bullish on them than I am, right?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how not bullish you are. What's your problem with it?
I think for me, I just need to see like the fiat side, like the fiat payment side. Because if I get to choose between OpenAI or CASCDR, I'm choosing CASCDR, or even Open Agents. However, Christopher does that. So like to me, it's just like I'd rather just support the teams.
I think that's a good point. I went to go connect my Alby, and I connected my Alby to the tab, and then I like opened another tab where I can't log in because I don't know why I can't. Yeah, because but
I'm taking a risk by using Bitcoin Connect. I love Bitcoin Connect, but it is like I think it's either alpha or beta software. I guess everything in Lightning's beta at this point. Yeah. But so there's some issues I got to work through there, and also just not everyone's using LNURL verify, which is needed on the seller side. If you're not going to like self-host, so that's part of the reason why I like the StartOS solution, because it is fully self-custodial. From top to bottom, fully private, whereas some of the other examples I put out there use LN address, which really only work well with Alby, unfortunately. So Keyan, I need you to implement LN URL verify. Yeah, I'm calling you. I think the Zaprite guys are too. I'm a verify URL.
Okay, I mean,
maximalist. Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing all that stuff right now, so not the verify stuff, but similar stuff. So.
Cool.
Yeah, but it's still great, dude. It's how far you've come, and especially even after Bolt.fun, you still just managed to keep shipping, which is always a good sign, right? Yeah. Stackers, check it out.
Check it out.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming on the show. Dang. 2 weeks in a row.
Take a chair.
2 weeks in a row. Your other top story was Books and Articles newsletter issue number 1. This is in the Books and Articles territory. Siggy 47, 34 comments, 4,919 sats. What is this?
Yeah, I thought this was awesome. So Siggy, he gave sats to plebpoet. I wonder if it was plebpoet's recommendation, but I thought Siggy's taking a book from our weekly newsletter and doing one for his territory. And I think it's cool. I think it's, we started doing the newsletter. It's been a hit. It makes sense that territory founders would do them too, to try to similarly kind of help people who maybe haven't been on the page every day get up to speed with all the value being created.
Totally great idea.
Yeah. It keeps people engaged. Maybe we can do more and actually make, tie an email, and people can subscribe to territory founders' emails and posts. Wow. That might be interesting.
That would be cool.
But what I really liked about it was the bottom, where he taunts or teases people with the prospect of writing more essays, poetry, or short stories. And because there hadn't been much poetry posted until he did that, and then plebpoet went and posted a poem. So I thought that was creative.
No, that's great. I love the way Jimmy does it. He just posts just one long. I think I'm going to try to do it that way too, where it's just one long thought, and then I need to find my niche on how I want to post writing on Stacker News, but I haven't had time to really sit down and think about it.
I think Jimmy's approach is great. I think for something like Stacker News, more of a forum, you're really looking for that you're looking for a really banging article, or you're looking for a mid-sized, thoughtful piece. But what I've noticed is posts that are a few sentences don't do terribly well. Sometimes
longer posts too.
Sometimes really long ones do well if they're well written and well structured. But you don't have to structure something too well. If it's mid-size and thoughtful, that'll do really well.
I definitely love it when it's structured, so makes things easier to read. Cool. Your next top story, or no, this is Meta, right? Yeah, Meta renewing econ. This happened over the weekend, February 3rd. Jeff, to 55 comments, 47,000 sats. What was this about, Keyan?
Oh, this is about Jeff possibly killing the econ territory because they don't want to do the financial upkeep of it. And that makes sense. So he's asking for someone to cover the other half.
It's close. It's 3,000 sats away.
I think he asked for people to send it to him out of band. So it's not wasn't looking to earn it through the post. So he might have already earned the amount, and he might actually renew it. That's
everybody chimed in. This was when I chimed in too. There's so much opinions in here. I don't know, where do you fall on what everybody's saying with you? Is what do you think?
I think the only error I see people making, like on a regular basis with regard to territories, is the assumption that they are this way forever.
I think that's just normal. I used to think like that. Remember?
Yeah.
I used to think like that. But as a normal Bitcoiner, you don't realize that that's not the case.
So of course not. Yeah. So that's the only thing, is that this is the minimum viable product. We've done like 2 updates on territories since they launched, given that we're working on wallets. So we're very far away from where we plan to be on them. I'm not saying we're necessarily going to solve all these problems, but we're going to try. And so that is, you should at least expect things to change somewhat and probably.
Did you take any ideas from here? You or Rook?
Did
you and Rook take any ideas from here?
I haven't read through it all yet, but I will. I think I got into a discussion at some point with a few people in there. I don't actually recall, but I think it's great.
Check it out. It's worth a read if you care. If you're a territory owner, you should definitely read this because it's like there's a lot of good debate in there, and it's worth reading. The next one, which that one led to this discussion, which was the Elvis Mercury post, territories, digital scarcity, and cultural capital. What do you think about this one? This was more like a formalized discussion on what's unfolding. And the other news. It's very meta on top of meta, I guess.
It's very meta, but I think it's very thoughtful. Elvis brings up the point that territories might have more than their kind of tangible economic value on offer, and they potentially have a collectible value, they potentially have a status value, and these other things. I wouldn't sell them on that basis personally. Like I would not communicate to someone that should buy them for those things. I would not try to convince them of buying them for those things. But that is most of what they get as a result of buying them right now. In addition to like their own space and some of the tools that we have and access to the community. But like, as far as like economic return, it's like you're likely only going to get it if it is somehow not redeemed on the site, given that we haven't fleshed out the economics of them.
I guess my question to you would be, if let's say you do make a decision one way or another on whatever way you decide to go, or the team, I should say, do you see yourself ever rolling back? Are you comfortable rolling back, or once you do it, you don't want to roll back?
Roll back what?
Just whatever feature that everybody's opposed to.
Oh yeah, I would.
You would roll back. Okay.
We've gotten rid of stuff before. I'm trying to think of examples, but
okay. So you are under the I guess for the stackers listening at home, it's more like you're cool with experimenting, but if you get it wrong, you are comfortable rolling back things.
It depends on how much if we're imagining this is somewhat democratic. It depends on how much the people who want it rolled back have thought about it. Relative, like if they have terminated their thinking about it where I expect it to end, or if they're just taking it at face value and saying that it should be rolled back at that stage, it depends on how much I trust their ability to make a decision about whether it should be rolled back or not.
Yeah, I think I posted in here. I put a lot of stuff in there. It was fun. It's fun, engaging. Even Tony posted in there. A lot of people that own territories posted in there. Yeah. I think for me, the way I look at it now is I'm just going to run it like it's an extension of PlebLab. I think I told you about it. So the builders one, I'm just running it like an extension of PlebLab, and I'm just kind of keeping it. So if I look at it that way, where it's costing PlebLab money every month, then I'm going to treat it like it's an extension of it and start running it to benefit us. And so that's how I look at it. And that's why I raised it to 1,000, because If I can get 50, so be it. But if not, then I'm just gonna. And it seems to be working. Look, even the sats are going higher. So I would say I would say maybe that mindset probably works. I don't know. I'm gonna try it this month and see what it looks like. Maybe next month. But what do you think about that?
I think we talked about that some. I think that is a good approach. Imagine people buying gold claims in California, a century ago. They didn't come with the mine built in and the shovels and knowledge of where the gold was. They just got the claim.
I think what I'm seeing through all this debate with the territories and stuff, or not even debate, just the discussion around it, is like they're all waiting for Stacker News to do something for you, and I'm like, no, I want Stacker News to do no. They're waiting for Stacker News to do something for them on the territory, and I'm like, no. The only thing that I can do is let Stacker News do things for me, and that's by using it as an extension of PlebLab. And since PlebLab's the one paying for the builder's territory, might as well let Stacker News work for us. Mm-hmm. And it's paying dividends, right? Or not? That's the wrong word. Sorry, Teresa. She's looking at me. It's not paying dividends. It's paying cents. As soon as I said that, she looked up. Okay. So anyway, just what I'm trying to say is like, if you can't figure it out, maybe have it work for you. Like I think like when I know Oscar's doing the podcast one, right? Like, why isn't this showing more fountain posts?
Because Oscar's super busy, and that's just he wants to.
We're all busy, Keyan.
I think,
and I love Oscar. But what I'm trying to say is like this is just an example of how it could facilitate that, right? And so that's all I'm saying is there's probably other ones out there that are probably doing something similar. I don't know, but
well, I think
just one way to look at it. Look, there's even a mempool one. So
I don't think necessarily anyone's like someone like Oscar isn't waiting for Stacker News to make him money. He's doing what Elvis Mercury was suggesting, which is where he's not in the territory to recoup the money immediately or the value immediately. Sees potentially a long-term potential of like if Stacker News pops off and he owns the podcast territory. Now it works really well for Fountain because they can put more energy and effort into it and possibly nudge people.
So he's waiting, he's letting it wait and sit and bake it.
I think so. I think it's like that's what I would guess for a lot of people.
The other territory owners aren't thinking like that, though. For the record.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair too. But I just don't. It is what it is right now.
When you were reading some of those comments, did you kind of feel like, oh, I felt like that in the early days? Any of those resonate with you?
Felt like that
because when you started Stacker News, I'm sure you dealt with like, oh, how do I get more people in here?
Yeah, I mean, I still feel that way about Stacker News. I still feel like the posts I wish posts that I see elsewhere are getting shared on Stacker News, discussions I see elsewhere happening on Stacker News. But I never thought that when I didn't put effort into those things myself. And so if I'm not putting a lot of energy into commenting or posting links or things like that, I don't have the expectation that a bunch of other people are going to come and do it for me. That's at least what I thought about it. I didn't have a double standard.
Yeah. Cool. Stackers, go out there, try harder. That's what I would say.
You don't need to try harder. Just let it go if you don't.
Or just give it the old OpenAI Sam Altman try, which is hardly anything. You get 7 trillion. Maybe you'll get 7 trillion sats. I don't know.
Like the people on some level are somewhat.
Give it a good old Sam Altman try.
Like this, we're not making money off enough money off of these things for it to be anything. So you're not hurting us by getting rid of it if you want to. And
don't say that.
No, I will say that. Okay. If they don't want it, they should get rid of it.
Can we get a free Stacker News hat?
I'd rather you not be in pain.
Can you ship out Stacker News hats for all the territory owners?
I've been thinking of doing interesting things like that, but I think
there you go, Stackers. Let's start with the hats. And then if he doesn't give us the hats, we'll revolt. This is how this works.
This is this is also a learning process for us. We don't know what's going to work with these things or not, and all this feedback helps a lot and stuff. Yeah. But
Stacker News hats for everybody.
But yeah,
come to Austin. They're here. Get him free. Get him. He'll sign it too.
Don't get me to sign. I have awful handwriting.
We're gonna get into super stats.
Super stats
segment. What is this, Keyan? Oh, it's top stackers.
Top stackers for the week. Looks like we've got Mallard's head with that Mallard's post. What it was an eagle.
Yeah, 116K.
116K.
Get it, Mallards. Get zapped.
Zap. And GrayRuby coming in second with their top posts. Undisciplined at the top as well. Always posting economic, like hitting economic stuff. KR, Tom K, Jeff.
Oh, Jeff, yeah. Get it.
Zap. Jeff from econ. He survived Mount Gox, but he can't afford a territory.
Because of Mount Gox. Because of Mount Gox.
Well, maybe just send your
we should send that to Veer, right?
Yeah, give Mount Gox our Bitcoin address and let us redeem what you lost.
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. We got the most boring segment in Bitcoin. The most boring segment in Bitcoin. It's still the most boring. It'll continue to be the most boring until my dark horse wins. And there we go, the Cowboy segment. Take it away, Keyan.
It hasn't moved at all. I believe.
I don't know what Rook's doing, man.
Car's horses might be.
This should just be a two-man race between Orthworm and Ben the Carman. What are we doing here?
You know, Siggy still has. I bet there's like 10 other people that have had. I'm gonna go look at it someday.
I think if Kevin Rook could step down, we can get really into the Cowboy race every week. What do you think? You got nothing to say here, Keyan.
I mean, I have more. My cowboy hat has a longer.
Do you really have a cowboy hat?
I do.
We'll see. Anyways,
I'm gonna.
Looks
be
like we got KR, the top cowboy, Orthworm, who's doing the snail posting every day and 100 push-ups. He's not stopping until he gets 100K. And then we got Ben the Carman, legend, local Austin legend, and of the Mutiny team. So I don't know, man.
You don't know.
I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, well, they're doing it, and they're keeping their cowboy hat. They're safe from the sun, the dust, the sweat.
Dude, Orthworm spent $1 million. Do you see that?
Yeah, big spender. Wow, doesn't that many posts. Might be a.
He just does the.
Might be another.
He just
name.
does the, what do you call it, post.
Yeah,
The saloon. Yeah.
Yeah, but look,
wait, what was his one post though?
His stack 500K.
Did he have one post? Did he ever have a post?
I love his bio.
Oh, it's just his bio. Wow, Patriot. Look at this guy. That's pretty cool. Anyways, that's Cowboy segment.
Yeehaw.
All right, Keyan. I think that's it. What are you doing this weekend?
What am I doing? I think I'm gonna code. I haven't been coding much because I've been like doing code reviews and other meeting-y things, and I'd like to code more. So I'm probably gonna code more. I'll probably code more after this podcast. So I'm looking forward to that. How about you?
We're doing a workshop tomorrow. Teresa's doing a workshop. Dorina is doing a workshop. I'm gonna announce the top 15 teams continuing on to round 2 of Top Builder.
Did you cut Jim?
We're cutting a lot of people tomorrow. I do not feel happy about this. So, yeah.
Did you give them a consolation prize? Did you give them a Pleb Lab shirt?
I will.
Now that we're giving away each other's merch.
I will. If that's what it takes, yeah, I will. I've already given them my time, so I might as well give them my shirts. Yeah, whatever they need, Keyan. That's what we do here. Build community.
All right.
Stackers, you go out there this week. You message Keyan and say, hey, I want my free Stacker News hat. No, I'm just kidding.
You at least have to pay for shipping.
Yeah, pay for shipping.
But I do have like 300 hats in my living room, just sitting in my living room, which I don't have space for them, but
see, you basically
I walk around them every day.
You basically have the beginning of. Did you ever see the Prestige where all those hats are just like, except this is all Stacker News hats.
No, I haven't seen it, but it's probably like that if it's bad.
Yeah. All right, Stackers. Have a great weekend.